how to import images into XVWeb. So on the right-hand side of the screen, when you're in XVWeb, there's an import button. It's the second icon down. When you left click on that, it's giving you two options. Do you want to import something as a new series or a current series? Let's show you what happens when we choose new series. Current series I might choose if I'm importing, individually, like an FMX18, and I'm doing them one at a time. Current series, whatever you import will be right here in the mix of these 4 bite wings. Left click on new series, drag files, or click here to add a new instance. So just prior to doing that, just want to show you that you can change the date. You can identify the modality of the image, and if you're importing a layout, you can choose the layout that you need to import. And on the left hand side, we've got the import and close button. So I'm going to click here. It's going to open up my computer, find where your images are that you need to import. And let's just choose that pan. Left click on the image that you need to import. Typically there's a preview. And then left click on open. There's my Apteryx. And again, let's choose the 10th. I can change the modality to PX. And then since this is not a layout or progression, left click on import. And you see it's kind of grayed out. Up at the top, successfully uploaded new series. There's an X there. I can just close that down and then look for that date. And there's those Apteryx that I just imported. That's how we import as a new series. If I left click and import as a current series, drag files or click here. Find the image or images that you need to import. When you left click. So if I'm just importing this next image, whatever image, hold your control button down, highlight multiple, click on open. It's going to import these 3 bite wings directly into that series. So when you see it successfully imported, once you left click on import, I can close this down. And there are those 3 bite wings here that I just imported. So you can see how that importing into the current series would import images into that series. And on the right hand side, when you left click, you can place those. So if they've imported and you need to rearrange them, we've got a video on rearranging images, but left click and place them. So if this were really an FMX18, left click on the FMX18 and drag those images to their appropriate tiles and then click the save and close button. So if you're importing images into the current series and they're discombobulated, you can rearrange those by left clicking on layout and placing them into the exact layout that you need. There's a video on creating layouts in XVWeb. When you create a layout in XVCapture, you must create that very same layout in XVWeb. That's how we import images into XVWeb, either as a new study or current series. Another way to import images is to import images into a new patient's chart. There's an import button here on the main screen. You are manually inputting this information. You're copying and pasting this information in, and on the date of birth, just to show you that you can left hold and highlight that information right here. You could literally up and down it to find that, but highlight, left hold, and drag across that year and put in the appropriate year. Same thing, left hold your mouse key, highlight that, change it, left hold, highlight it, and change it. There's a check mark there. So once you've identified your patient, you've verified their birth date, left click on import, and there's 2 options here, patient images and DICOM files for your CT scans. When you left click on patient images, you have another chance to verify your patient's information. And over here, we can change the date of whatever image we're importing. The modality, we can assign the modality of the image that we're importing. And if we are importing a layout, we can go ahead and choose that layout from that drop-down menu. Drag files or click here, it's the same workflow. It's going to open up your computer. You're going to find your patient's images. And again, if I'm choosing a pan, highlight it, click open, change my modality, change my date of importation to the actual date that it was acquired. And I wouldn't choose a layout in this instance, and left click on import. You see that importing? There's my new patient that I just created and with the image that I imported. That's how we import images into a new patient in XVWeb. When manually inputting this information to import into a new patient, be aware of your site settings on the format for the date of birth. In the upper left-hand corner, you can ask your administrative team, under Settings and Site Settings is a date format. This one is the month, date, and year. If that happens to be backwards, you can change how you want that inputted. But that's important when we are manually inputting this information. When I left click in this drop-down menu, and again, I can just change my date here, but this format you can see is the year, the month, and then the date. And you see how it changes here. As soon as I input that information, I've got the month, the date, and the year. This is all about how your site settings, under settings, and the date format is set. Be sure and double check that. That'll make that a lot easier when you are manually inputting patient information to import into a new patient.